This is Andy Gutierrez from StarWars.com, and you are listening to Coffee with Kenobi with Dan Z. This is the podcast you're looking for.
This is James Arnold Taylor, and you're listening to Coffee with Kenobi. I have a good feeling about this.
Let's try that again. Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to Coffee with Kenobi's Facebook Live every Monday night at 8 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time. I am your host, Dan Z, thrilled to be talking Star Wars with each and every one of you. Well, what a fun show tonight. We're going to, looks like we've got a lot of our friends here, which is wonderful. So let's go ahead and bring in Minta. Hello, Minta. This is the way at CWK Day. She's always the first one, so thank you, Minta, for always being first one to class. Excellent. Very happy Monday to you as well. Good to have you back on the show. And of course, Blake is here too. What is up, Blake? Chris is here. Hello, Chris. What's up, man? Good to have you back on the show. Terry is here. Welcome back, Terry. Terry, let me know. Send me a message. Tell me when you're going to go to Galaxy's Edge, because I'm going to try to help prepare some stuff for you. Ross, back in the saddle. Hello, Ross. Ross, and I have a really fun experience plan that we're going to share with you on a future show for sure. Jason is here. Hello, Jason. Glad to be here with you as well, my friend. Always good to have you here. Hello, Luis. I am ready. I'm ready for your top 5 and having you on the show. Jamie is here, of course. Hello, Jamie. Good to see you, my friend. Mason is here. Hello, Mason. Mason and I rewatched The Bad Batch actually not that long ago to get even more prepared for tonight, so we're excited to talk about The Bad Batch tonight. And Daniel is here. Daniel just got his Obi-Wan Kenobi apparel officially approved, and he is ready to go for the Rebel Legion. Go to the CWK Cafe and check out Daniel's amazing work. It is pretty breathtaking. Kudos to you, Daniel. Congratulations again. All right, on today's show, we got a lot of fun coming your way. We're going to be talking about, of course, your top 5 favorite moments from Rescue on Ryloth. I have a video interview with Vanessa Marshall that I did last week as part of a Star Wars virtual press event. And then you may have seen them, but we've got some CWK live teas that are going to be fun as well. All right. So let's go ahead and jump right into the show. As I said, we've got a lot of fun stuff planned for you. I'm interested in hearing how everybody's week was. I'm certainly interested in hearing what you thought about The Bad Batch. But before we jump into The Bad Batch, let's take a look at what is brewing in the world of Star Wars this week. But before I do that, I'm going to keep talking like I am saying something radio-like, because I'm getting rid of these logos. Okay, logos are gone. What's brewing in the world of Star Wars this week?
And now, let's see what's brewing in the Star Wars universe this week.
So this week, a fun week in the world of Coffee with Kenobi. Lots of work being done on the Galaxy's Edge audio tour. It's really coming along nicely. It's going even better than I expected, so I'm really excited to get a release date out to you, hopefully very, very soon. Working away on that, but it's going to be fun. But another thing that we've been working on, and Corey and I had an idea. Actually, I was talking with him, and I said, I want to do some more shirts. We've got a lot of great logo shirts in our TeePublic store, coffeewithkenobi.com/shop, and those are fun. But I also want to do some more just regular shirts with some fun stuff on them. And so I made a mock-up of a CWK live shirt, and it was fine. It was blue and white, and it was fine. And then Corey goes, "You mind if I take a shot?" And I said, "Of course." Corey, the award-winning designer and co-creator of Coffee with Kenobi. So he sends me over this. And he says, "What do you think of that?" Well, I like that a lot better. That looks a lot better than what I had planned. So we've got 2 options for you. You've got the blue shirt with the live in orange, and you've got the orange shirt with the live in blue. I really like them. We ordered them right away, naturally. Mason and I will be sporting them on a future Coffee with Kenobi. I'm just waiting for it to be shipped to me, and hopefully it won't be too much longer before I'll get to do that. And the TeePublic shirts, if you've ever had them before, they're very soft. They're very nice, durable, comfortable shirts. They don't have tags, which I always am a big fan of. I'm really happy with them. So Minta is a fan. She says, "Ooh, yes, I felt the same way when I saw Corey's design. He's so gifted, and Thank you, Blake. They look great. They would look great on you, and it'd be a nice present for your wife as well, Blake. So get on that, buddy. What are you waiting for? Daniel says loves blue. Thank you. Thank you, Daniel, for saying that. I like the blue as well. I want to say for the orange ones, for some reason on TeePublic, when you go into their store, they do this thing where they don't let you pick a default option on the actual website of orange. So it says CWK Live orange shirt, but the picture is gray. Don't let that fool you. What you do is you click on the actual shirt, and then it lets you select gray or orange. So click on the orange, and it will look just like it does on the right here, if you decide to go that route. Okay, so I wanted to share that with you. I think that's a lot of fun. No, it is not a Giants shirt, Ross. We are Cubs and San Diego Padres fans here in this household, right, Mace? Vi Marati, no, I can go that. But I like, how about CWK Orange? How about that? I think that makes sense to me. Yes. All right, so there's the one. And now I want to share with you, obviously we're going to talk about the Bad Batch tonight as we do. And gosh, there's only a couple episodes left of the first season, and I've had a lot of fun with it. I've had a lot of fun sharing it with you each week. And Mason and I have been talking. Mason has kind of become the junior executive junior producer of Coffee with Kenobi. He and I have been planning some topics and some fun shows for after season 1 of the Bad Batch. Luis, definitely, if you want to get one, my friend, I would love to. I think you look great in it, of course, styling around. But go to coffeewithkenobi.com/shop, and that is how you can get yours. So we're going to be talking about Rescue on Ryloth. But before we get to that, I want to share with you the interview I had with Vanessa Marshall. Now, when you do these Star Wars virtual press events, there's usually a lot of us from fan sites and podcasts and blogs and things like that. So we all get a couple of chances. I was lucky enough to be able to ask Vanessa a couple of questions, so I took just her video and mine and combine them into this so you could see the questions that I got to ask Vanessa. I've met Vanessa several times. She's been on the show before. She's a really cool person. And I think that shows up definitely in this interview. So I'm going to share that with you. Mary says, looking forward to hearing Mason's ideas for shows. Yes, Mary, you will be very happy for them. Okay. Speaking of happy, let's go ahead and I'm going to share Vanessa's interview with you right now. You bet. Well, hello, Vanessa. Dan Z from Coffee with Kenobi. Good to see you again.
Hi. So good to see you.
I love it. Well, I'm so excited for this. Your voice work is always outstanding. But you've taken it to another level here with a younger version of Hera than you portrayed in Star Wars Rebels. If you could, please talk about your process and direction for bringing Hera to life for the Bad Batch.
Well, thank you for asking. I got the email asking if I would be interested in doing the job. I said yes. We set a date. I got the script. I loved it. I had no idea who Omega was, but I looked forward to having an imaginary conversation with her because this was recorded in the pandemic. And so I was by myself in my recording booth. And I will say parenthetically that as a huge Bad Batch fan who's fallen in love with Omega, to finally understand exactly who I was talking to, totally fangirl flail. Okay. Then we consider her age and sort of the pitch of her voice, and of course the accent, because this is her hometown, and she gets back to her hometown accent with charm, as we see later in Rebels. But yeah, so it was interesting to discover exactly how young, exactly how much of the accent, and I rehearsed it many different ways, and then brought all of that to the recording session and trusted that wherever they directed me, I would follow. And we found her together, and it, when combined with the animation, I was blown away, and I could not believe I was talking to Omega. Just couldn't believe it.
Thank you. You're a rock star.
Oh, you are. It's so good to see you.
You too. Wonderful. Well, Vanessa, one of the best things about Devil's Deal was, of course, the reintroduction of Hera, but talk about the beautiful metaphor of flying in this episode and what we learn about Hera through it.
Yes. Well, as I've said, my dad is a pilot, and I've flown with him before. And, it's interesting. My dad, he worked at NBC for many years as a news reporter. And when he retired, he said, I was in the Air Force, but I only worked for the radio station there. I never got to fly a plane. And I dared him to learn how to fly. I did not expect him to not only learn how to fly, but learn how to fly an open cockpit biplane, and do hammerhead maneuvers over Kern County. I mean, my dad is out of control. But having said all that, equally, there is a spiritual element to it that he always taught me, that it's important to get perspective on the earth below, and that there's nothing like flight to help you really see things as they are. And so when she says that specs are only half of it, that flying is about the feeling, and that ultimately it helps her feel free, for a teenage girl to understand that, to me, spoke volumes of exactly why she had the capacity to become a really great pilot. And when I did Wings of the Master, I dedicated that episode to my father. And it meant so much to me. And in turn, it meant a lot to him, because he knew that all of those words, once again, they nailed it. That is the value of flight for many pilots, is that sort of feeling of freedom. And I'm grateful that they echoed exactly what she said in Wings of the Master, that she used to look up to the sky and feel free. When we, got to see that here in Bad Batch, it was just beautiful. And I love that she was having a conversation with another female character. For me, these girls imagining their lives in ways that perhaps, they don't often consider, in terms of, Hera is, you need to be a good girl and stay on the ground, or whatever it is, that they have the capacity to realize their dreams. I think it's really important to see that, and that they support each other in that. And there were no haters. There was no hater energy. Like, they're like, oh, you get to live on a flight, you get to live on a ship. Oh, I've always wanted to do that, or whatever it is. And that they could dream together. I think that that's really, really powerful. And I'm grateful that they model that for other young girls, or for humans in general.
Amen. Yeah, inspirational, beautiful, and it passes the Bechdel test.
There you have it.
Yes. And for my money, Hera is still the best pilot in the Star Wars galaxy, past, present, or future.
Wow. Okay. Woo! That's high praise. Thank you, sir.
You bet. Thank you. All right. So hopefully that ended up working for everybody. Meantime, I saw you were able to get it working for you. If you missed that one, or you want to hear more of it, it's on our YouTube channel, Coffee with Kenobi's YouTube channel, which, of course, please subscribe to, because that helps spread the word about our wonderful Star Wars community that we have. And you can see that in more detail. Thank you, Ross. Very kind of you, sir. Vanessa's really great, very generous with her time. And she's cool. I love that she answered that question about the idea of metaphor through flight and through Hera, and I think she did a great job. Jason says, that was really cool. Thanks for showing it. I loved hearing it on the podcast too. Well, thank you, Jason. My pleasure, buddy. Again, if you want to see that again, the clarity wasn't great, because I had to take and basically shrink out the videos and expand them, so it'd just be the two of us, because when you do these things, you're encouraged not to share audio from other people naturally if you didn't get their permission. I didn't get a chance to talk with everybody and get their permission, so I just showed mine, and that's how that worked, the way that did a little behind the scenes for you there. But good stuff. Speaking of good stuff, let's get to what you've been waiting for. The top 5. Thank you, Daniel. Daniel says, wow, what a cool interview. Thank you so much, buddy. Happy to share that with you. And anytime we get a chance to participate in those things, I'll be sure to share those with you here, as well as on our YouTube channel and all the other places that you can find Coffee with Kenobi. But today we're going to talk about your top 5 moments from Rescue on Ryloth. I know Aaron Harris is out there somewhere, really excited, but this was a fun one to really focus on this. Luis says, I can also get a mug with with Coffee with Kenobi. Yes, you can, my friend. You sure can. Matthew, it was nice hearing her personal connection to flying, also all the cool stuff she had in the background. Yeah, she said that in that expanded press conference, she had mentioned to us that all those things were things that companies had sent to her. And most of them have a lot of Hera stuff on them, or Rebels, or just fun Star Wars stuff, so that's great. All right. Top fives. Here we go. Number 5 for me of this episode, which, by the way, I haven't mentioned yet, but I love this episode. I thought it was great. Number 5 for me was probe droid. Just having probe droids anywhere, for any thing, for any reason, good, bad, or indifferent, I'm a fan of. I like the sound. I like the design. It reminds me of The Empire Strikes Back. So, of course, probe droids had to make my list. How could I not put them in there? Number 5 for Mary Omega to Gonky. We're defective too. I like that. And I like that she called the Gonk droid Gonky. I don't remember hearing that before. If somebody, feel free to let me know. That was a fun moment too, basically saying, what's he talking about? We're all defective too. I like that. Number 5 for Ross, same thing. Don't worry, we're defective too. Omega trying to put Gonky at ease after Hunter refers to the Gonk power droid as a defective unit. Yeah, and there's a little bit of irony there too, isn't it? Because technically Hunter and Clone Force 99 are defective, but of course we know that they are pretty powerful and pretty significant. No such thing as defective when it comes to a person. Jason's number 5, animation excellence. Every episode continues to have moments when the character moments are incredibly lifelike. I agree. Jason, you have a specific moment from that you want to point out specifically, because I like that and I agree. And I was noticing that when I was watching the show too. Whenever I saw close-ups of Hunter or Hauser is when I particularly noticed it. Number 5 for Matthew, Hunter taking out the probe droids. Yes, for sure. Mita is number 5, same as mine. Probe droids, excellent. Blake's number 5, the sound effects. They continue to throw in retro sounds us OT fans would recognize in a heartbeat. I like that. I love catching that stuff as well. I suppose I should probably mention, hey, while you're listening to the show, you see that little button on the right-hand corner. Share it with your friends. Invite some friends. Have them join in the conversation with us. I would love to have as many people as possible in our Star Wars community be a part of this conversation. So please share it out. That would be so, so cool. Number 5 for Daniel. Chopper coming into his own and blasting the troopers. Right? Chopper Palooza, man. Chopper was great in this episode. I'm glad you brought that up. Jason, Rampart standing up from his desk and Hauser putting on his helmet before going out to speak to his troops, which I think is symbolic. I still think that when the clones put on their helmets, they're doing something that they want to hide any personal, vestment into, because to me, they're a little bit ashamed of what they do. Not the ones that have the chips. They just have that because they want to try to lose their identity, because that's probably what Palpatine wants. But I think there's some interesting symbolism there. Can this whole episode be one of the top 5? Interesting. You know what? If you want to, you should. I like it, Matthew. Number 5 for Mason is when Hunter takes out that probe droid. He loved that part. I love that part. It's just a cool, quick action sequence. Makes quick work of the probe droid. And I liked it so much that it was Mason's number 5. It's my number 4, Hunter versus the probe droid. I love it. Of course it did. Unfortunately, there's not enough probe droid stuff in this for me to have every one of my top 5 of probe droid, but I did my best. Cool. What does everybody else have for their number 4 of this one? Of this episode, Rescue of Ryloth. We're going to do a much more in-depth conversation and review of that later this week. Have that out for you on Thursday, and I can probably share the news that our guest co-host for this week's show is going to be the one and only Blake Weaver. So Blake, I'm looking forward to hearing more of your thoughts about this episode. Number 4 for Ross, Chopper being Chopper, sneaking around, destroying droids, attacking clones, booster rockets, and flailing arms. Authentic Chop is on full display, right? He was so fun, wasn't he? I got a big kick out of him. That was great stuff. Jason's number 4, text one-liners. He's hilarious, and he doesn't even mean to be funny. That's true, and I think Tom's going to probably talk about that on the show. Number 4 for Minta, Omega and Hera flying a stolen ship. Yes, that was pretty cool. I like that it was an impromptu plan, very much a harbinger of what Hera's going to accomplish and how she's going to be when she is Spectre 2, right? That's going to be fun. Mason's number 4 is Chopper's very first appearance right away in the episode. His quick little comments, which are hard to understand, of course, but that's by design. And seeing him for the first time was really, really fun. Number 4 for Matthew. Crosshair knowing that the attack was a diversion was cool. Crosshair kind of was a little more compelling to me in this. Usually I just think he's frustrating, but I liked him in this one a lot. He's a good foil. Number 4 for Blake, Omega convincing Hunter that saving Hera's family was worth the risk. I like that too. Cool to see her standing up for what is right. Hopefully that rubs off on Hunter, and I think that it did. Mary's number 4, Hauser and other clones laying down their weapons. I hope we see more of the clones who are not following the good soldier's order. And like you, Mary, and so many of us, I can't wait to figure out what is Hauser doing or not doing that is able to resist this? Or did they just turn off the button for Order 66, and when it's already on, if you had it, it's there? I don't know. I really don't know. And I like, as many of you know, I like not knowing. I like having to kind of break it down and then just see when they're ready to reveal it to us. Number 4 for Daniel, Omega stating we're defective too when we're repairing the Gonk droid. Yeah, that was great. That was great. Thank you, Daniel. Thank you, everybody. All right, so I mentioned my 4. I mentioned Mason's 4. Let's go ahead and jump into number 3. Number 3 for me was Chopper stealth mode. Right away, when they start to initiate the plan, there's this row of astromechs, imperfect single file, and then here comes Chopper. He wheels around to the back, and he just kind of hum-dums along and does his thing, and I just got the biggest kick out of that. It was very much reminded me of some of my favorite little quick moments from Rebels. You know, again, what a great show that is. So that was fun. Number 3 for me to Chopper doing what he does best, kicking droid can and trooper butts alike. Oh, that is very well said. Yes, Mason and I got a lot of fun out of Chopper in this episode. Number 3 for Ross, Crosshair understanding the real plan by the Bad Batch, but he seems to keep struggling. Is he committed to impressing Admiral Rampart, or is he questioning the side that he is on? It's still hard to tell. That is hard to tell, and maybe next episode will be much more of an eye-opener. We shall see. Jason's number 3, the rescue plan and refinery infiltration. That plan had Star Wars Rebels and the Ghost Crew written all over it, especially Chopper. Yes, it did. It was cool to see how they're going to start working together and the seeds of this being planted and how that will pay off when Hera leads the crew of the Ghost. Number 3 for O'Mary. Omega standing up to Hunter when he wants to leave Ryloth without helping the Syndulas. She is really growing up. And right before our eyes. Pretty neat. Really, really neat. I'm just so glad Hera's in this show. Number 3 for Matthew. Chopper taking out the other droid. Yes, that was fun. Certainly won't be the last time we've seen him do that, but it always puts a smile on your face. He's just no nonsense, which I like. Blake's number 3, the goodbye between Hera and Omega. Very hard to see Omega not being able to be a kid and have friends stay. Yeah, and that's what I was thinking. It's probably the only time, at least that we've seen, where she had a peer, like the same age group, similar interests, obviously. And her saying goodbye. I mean, she loves her brothers, and we know that, but it's still got to be hard to be on that ship like that. So that is a good one. Mason's number 3 is when Chopper is running around shocking all the clone troopers, especially those 2 he shocks right away. And then, you know, again, we laugh, we giggle, and Chopper's just so effective. And they underestimate that little astromech all the time. I'm looking up, and I've got a couple of astromech versions of Chopper in a 3 3/4 inch scale. I wish I bought an extra one so we could open it. I think Mason has one that was open. We'll have to play with that tomorrow, Mason. That one's really fun. Okay, Daniel says in his number 3, the showdown with Hauser and Crosshair with Admiral Rampart, if stairs/looks could kill. Yes. And boy, Admiral Rampart really was a poopy face. I think that's fair to say. Mason, would you say he was a poopy face in this episode? Very arrogant. Very arrogant. Let's go ahead and jump into number 2. My number 2 is hands up. When those troopers show up and point a blaster at Chopper, he just puts his little hands up and makes his little noises, and I just love it. I mean, the first 2 of mine were about Pro Droids. These 2 are about Chopper. Hey, what can I say? There was a lot of good moments in this. And this was a really fun, joyful episode, I thought. As far as like the stuff related to Rebels, I think. Matthew, number 2, Hera and Omega stealing the ship, allowing Hera to fly for the first time, which was glorious, I would say. Meantime, Omega calling the Bad Batch her brothers, and I love when she says, we're defective too. I like that too. It was very symbolic and shows the kinship and how she's able to rise above all the time. See people as people. Number 2 for Ross, Hera's strategic plan and Omega's ability to adjust on the fly while attacking the refinery. Hera's first flight of rebellion is a wonderful moment, even if it's not the smoothest. Yes, she always wanted to take off and land, and she got her chance to do that, didn't she? That was a neat little moment, almost like when Han first goes into the cockpit of the Falcon. Jason's number 2. Captain Hauser exemplifies everything I love about the clone troopers and gives me some hope that some clones can retain at least some of their agency after Order 66. We'll see. Yeah, it does feel like Palpatine completely robs them of that, but I don't know. Hauser is so interesting. Number 2 for Mary. Hera's message for help that a new hope will lay a moment. You're our only hope. Ooh, good catch. I didn't think about that. Number 2 for Blake. Crosshair overall at this episode, the tension he created throughout really made him move up on my bad guy list. I agree. I said this a little bit earlier, but I found him frustrating for most of this series. And then I kind of was intrigued by him. Just the fact that he was fooled and that he was, instead of going into arrogant, take care of business, cold-hearted mode, he seemed a little more contemplative, and I really like that. Aaron's here. Just for a second, Aaron, good to have you, man. He says, recording a new episode tonight. It was a great episode. Chopper was awesome. Loved seeing Hera flying. Hauser is now one of my favorite clones right up there with Rex. Chopper, electrocuted droid, and 2 clone troopers. Loved the Bad Batch in action, and Chopper was in it. Yes, Aaron, thanks so much, and certainly love and prayers to you this week, my friend. I know you've been struggling with some stuff in your family, and we're just rooting for you, my friend. But glad you can make it to share that with us. Matthew says, I wish you could build a chopper at Galaxy's Edge. Matthew, amen to that. If you could, Mason and I will be booking our plane tickets right now and going down there and do that because that would be cool. Speaking of, remind me at the end of this so I can show you the droid that I built. I never showed anybody that before. I need to make a video. I need to make a lot of videos. Can anyone extend the time of the day for me? That would be so nice. All right. Daniel's number 2. When Hauser speaks to a squad about the Empire mission and many throw down their firearms. I love that. I love that scene, Daniel. That was very cool. Mason's number 2 is when Chopper greets Omega. When they first say hello to each other in this episode, it's just kind of a fun charming moment between 2 endearing characters, and we really like that over here. Okay, let's go ahead to number 1. Number 1, our favorite moment, at least my favorite moment, your favorite moment from Rescue on Ryloth. Number 1 for me is Hauser's speech that Daniel just mentioned. Well, I love it. Powerful, brave, confident, and knowing fully well that he's going to be arrested or worse, and he still does it. He stands up to them. He is pretty cool. I hope we see a lot more of Hauser, for sure. Number 1 for Matthew. Hauser's speech to his troops, knowing he could have been killed by anyone there. Exactly. Just like I said, I agree, Matthew, for sure. Minta, Hauser turning against the Empire and encouraging his fellow clone troopers to do the same, even if it costs him his freedom. Whoa, nice. Are we all going to say this one? Ross, number 1, clone Captain Hauser standing up for what is right. Wow, passively starting a clone revolution is everything positive, just, and hopeful in Star Wars. Very good. And on an unrelated note, or is it, the Cubs are beating the Cardinals. Yay! Okay, back to Star Wars. Let's see. So just had Ross marry the entire final scene between the Syndulla family and the Bad Batch. Hera hugging Omega. I love that. I love, again, the bond the two of them have. I hope we see a lot more of that. Jason. Omega's boldness. She doesn't take no for an answer, and she doesn't back down from adversity, even when it comes from her own team. Yes, I agree. She does that a lot. And boy, those characters in the Bad Batch are slow learners, but Omega is not. I really like her. Blake, Hauser's speech, one of the top 3 moments of the season. I agree. If we did a top 5 moments from season 1, it would have to be on there for me. It's really good. Really good. Mason couldn't believe that his number 1, in any of his lists, usually every single list, he has at least 1 or 2 Omega moments, but he didn't here because all the fun stuff with Chopper and all that stuff. Speaking of Chopper, Mason's number 1 is when Chopper puts his hands up like my number 2. That was Mason's number 1. We laugh so much. We have this great tradition we do where we watch the show. A couple days later, we watch again and we take notes. And Mason will have me pause the episode when he wants to write down a key moment. So we do that, and it's fun to hear him write, like that thing about Chopper and him giggling. I just get the biggest kick out of that. Star Wars is fun with family and friends, isn't it? That's why, one of the great reasons why I love our Star Wars community. So great. Terry says, I didn't create a top 5 tonight, but Hauser's rebellion at the end was my favorite part of the episode, period. I agree. Wonderful stuff. Mets tied the Reds. Well, there you go. I think that Mary is a big Reds fan, so she may not be happy about that, but I know Jason Fry and the Mets fans are. Daniel's number 1, Tech, and that wonderful ship maneuver he pulled off. It was like driving and pulling the e-brake. Wasn't that cool? It was cool to see that, and then to see Wrecker in like operating the cannon was kind of neat to see too. Jason says that was a sweet move, and I love how Wrecker reacted to it. That was super cool. That was super cool. Oh wait, I was wrong. The Cardinals are winning. Oh well, I take it back. The Cardinals are winning. Boo. Okay. Mary, it was hard to come up with only 5 in this episode. I had 2 honorable mentions. First, Rampart admitting he was wrong about Clone Force 99 and giving Crosshair the okay to hunt them down. Second, Tekken and all the snarky remarks. I like those. I noted those in my honorable mentions and in my list for a more detailed breakdown of this episode that we will record later on Coffee with Kenobi. But this one, at first I thought, Mason, we're going to have to do a top 10. There's some great moments in this one. There's some really great moments in this one. I had a lot of fun talking about it. I had a lot of fun talking about it with you, of course. Mary says, Red's not doing well starting back from the break. Typical, yes. Sometimes being a baseball fan can be painful, but ultimately it's just a lot of fun. Speaking of a lot of fun, next week's top 5 is top 5 moments from episode 13 of The Bad Batch. We've only got 4 episodes left from season 1, and I look forward to reviewing these on Coffee with Kenobi. Like, for example, last week we did Star Wars The Bad Batch Devil's Deal. And I share the interview that I did with Vanessa Marshall, and then Tom and I broke it down with Aaron Harris. So then this week, we're going to release the one for Rescue of Ryloth, and Blake Weaver is going to join us. So that's going to be fun. So that's what we've got going on for sure. Let's go ahead and jump into Ask Dan Z. Wow. Watching those clips, man. A lot of fun memories. As you know, I traveled for a couple weeks ago to Galaxy's Edge, hoping that things are safe and well, and that people can travel, because I hope to meet all of you at Celebration. Next year, of course, I will be there, and a lot of other fun Star Wars events, Galaxy's Edge, what have you. So hopefully everybody is doing well, staying safe, and all that good stuff. This is when I would love for you to ask me any questions if you have any. Reminder for your droid that I built. Thank you, Terry. I'm going to get that droid right now. It'll take me about 2 seconds. All right. So here it is. I love this thing. He's super fun. And you can buy like some replacement parts. And I got a bunch of orange ones to replace here and over here as well. So I'm going to try to do a video of this thing because I think it'll be fun to record a video of. But the process of building a droid is great, great fun. The number one thing is still building a lightsaber at Savvy's Workshop, but this is great, great fun. There you go. All right. Let's see. Do I have a favorite Hera collectible? I do. In fact, and it's right here. It's this. It's a Hera Vinylmation. They had them at the D23 Expo. It was like either got this one or Kanan. I think out of 4 out of 5 were Hera. 1 of them was Kanan. I got the Hera one, and I love it. I love the Vinylmations anyway. They basically all have the Mickey Mouse shape, but then they paint them differently. And yeah, I like that one. I think that one's pretty cool. All right. Good question. Matthew says, love the episode reviews. Would love to chat Bad Batch with you one day. Matthew, that would be great, buddy. That would be so great. Do I have any plans for cons this year? Well, that certainly plans on a lot of different factors and what happens during the school year. It's harder for me to get out to cons, but I'm certainly excited to get back to one. I will definitely be at Celebration next May alongside Corey Clubb and Tom Gross. We will certainly be there. There will be a very big Coffee with Kenobi presence at Star Wars Celebration, and hopefully we'll start getting announcements for that. We're basically 11 months away, 10 months away, something like that. So, gosh, yeah, 10 months away because it's next May for sure. Hey, man, good to have you back on the show for sure. Meantime, your thoughts on the Loki season finale, maybe a possible crossover with the Star Wars multiverse. Well, I hope they don't do that because I don't want to cross the streams like that. But I liked the Loki finale. Tom and Corey and I just recorded a big review of it for CWK Pour Over. That is going to come out this weekend. So you can hear the video portion of that on Friday, and then the audio podcast, which is the same, just not the video, that comes out every Sunday. So that was one way you can hear all about what we thought about it. Not a question, but Dan, if you want more time in the week, structure your days to be 21 hours long. That will create an 8th day. Ooh, clever. I'll look into that. Maybe Deanna and I can figure that out. Chris wants to know what the droid's designation is. I've been thinking about that. And Mason and I talked about that a lot. They don't really have a place where you officially name your droid, but I thought wouldn't it be cool is CWK as instead of R2 and then 2013, something like that, because that's your Coffee with Kenobi started. So I don't know. I'm open to hearing requests on that. Do you have any thing, Cad Bane? I only have his Clone Wars figure. That's all I have too, I think. Let's see. Yeah, I've got his Clone Wars figure. I never got the Black Series figure of him, but I love Cad Bane. I hope there's more. Maybe there'll be a Lego of him someday. That would be really fun too. The Kenobi series. Oh, when the Kenobi series is on, we will definitely be doing a top 5 of the Kenobi series, of course. Not Star Wars related, but I'm actually going to a wrestling meet and greet in September, so I'm looking forward to that. How you ever meet any celebs? How do I meet celebs? Well, that's a complicated question, but basically, I when I see them, I smile and I respect their time and their privacy, and if there's an opportunity for a conversation, I take it. But if not, I just respect their privacy. So that's good. That's a good question. What celebrities are going to meet, man? I used to be a big fan of wrestling. I still really like it too. Terry says CWK13. Oh, that might be it. Mason, what do you think? That CWK13, that might be the winner. I like that one a lot. Oh, have I ever met any celebrities? Oh, I have. I'm surprised you haven't seen. Anytime I get a chance, I splatter the picture of me with Harrison Ford. I've met Harrison Ford. I've met Carrie Fisher. I've met Anthony Daniels several times. I met the entire cast of Rebels, a lot of the cast of Clone Wars. I've met Kathleen Kennedy. I've met a lot of Star Wars celebrities. I've met some athletes. I've met a lot of people. I've been very fortunate and very blessed in my life to do so. Conventions are a great way to do that, for sure. And if you want to see some of the pictures of the people that I met, be sure to go to Coffee with Kenobi's Instagram page. And there's a lot of stuff there. Rob Van Dam, and Matt Hardy. Oh, nice, dude. That's going to be fun. Be sure to post some pictures in the CWK Cafe because I'd love to see those. That would be really, really cool to see, man. Good to have you. It's good to have all of you on Coffee with Kenobi's Facebook Live every Monday night at 8 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time, of course. Probably sometime in the middle of August, I'm going to change the time. Again, be sure to go to the survey I posted in the cafe and on Twitter to let me know what times work best for you. Because I want to have as many people as possible every week when we do the show. I hope everybody shares it out and brings a friend because I want to bring as many people as possible into this community. I mean, this is a very interactive Facebook situation. It's a very interactive podcast situation where we all get to share our Star Wars conversation. And it only happens because of all of you listening now on Facebook or catching the Facebook replay or on YouTube or Instagram and certainly on the Coffee with Kenobi podcast feed later because I release the audio of this usually about an hour or two after this airs. Meantime, may the Force be with you. Blake, good night, buddy. We'll chat with you very, very soon. Matthew, have a magical week. Mary, have a great week as well. Keep the funny stuff posted in the Facebook groups, of course. Thanks for sharing, everyone. Thanks for hosting. Dan Ross, thanks, man. Thanks for being such a good ambassador and joining us. Looking forward to chatting with you very soon. Jason, good night to you. May the Force be with you this week. Certainly good chatting with all of you. Be well, stay safe, and hey, go check out a CWK Live t-shirt. That would be fun. All right. Thanks so much, everybody. Take care.
This podcast is not endorsed by the Walt Disney Company or Lucasfilm Limited. It is intended for entertainment and informational purposes only. The official Star Wars website can be found at www.starwars.com. Star Wars, all names, sounds, and any other Star Wars-related items are registered trademarks and/or copyrights of Disney and their respective trademark and copyright holders. All original content of this podcast is the intellectual property of Coffee with Kenobi unless otherwise indicated.
This is the podcast you're looking for.